flight into the dangerous world of a man who does not exist. A young loner on a crusade to champion the cause of the innocent, the helpless, the powerless, in a world of criminals who operate above the law.
Hey, it's me, and welcome to this video. Now, as you can see from this footage, there was a window very close to the shooter, and from out of that window you could see the shooter. And that room had law enforcement people, snipers even, and at no point did they take out crooks. Now, the official story is that they went out of the room for some reason. Maybe they went to get a Pepsi down at the vending machine, and one of them lost his access card. I mean, you have a real bogus story that it just so happens that when Crooks was getting into place, getting ready to fire at the rally at President Trump, these three guys were out of that room. Yeah, what a coincidence. Now, you had a ruckus going on. You saw the eyewitness videos, people screaming, running around, shouting about a shooter on the roof, and no one from that room stuck out their head or, took out Crooks, which is what should have happened. Also, Sniper Team 1 in the distance. I used to think the tree was obstructing their view, but no, they had a clear view on the shooter. They did not take out the shooter until after he fired on Trump. Now, the first shot had to be a headshot, and those first three shots sounded very different from the next five. And then the last shot, number 9, was the shot that took out Crooks. Now it goes something like boom, 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 pa 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 pa, boom. And you can hear that in the audio analysis. And that indicates that 3 different weapons are heard. The first 3 bullets, then the next weapon, 5. Then the final shot, another weapon. And that is consistent with my theory, which is that you had an elite assassin, maybe a military guy, in a room, maybe that very room that was abandoned by law enforcement and the Secret Service for some reason, and that person was using a sniper rifle with a tripod, and it was a perfect headshot. Now, Crooks was there. The AR-15 seems to have been planted there for him. And Chris Ray in testimony said he wasn't even sure if that AR had a scope on it. Now, that's one of the basic facts that you would ascertain. But after 10 days, Chris Ray wasn't sure. Now, he wasn't sure about many things, but he was sure that the stock was collapsible, and which would explain that you can put it in a bag and walk around undetected. But the collapsible stock doesn't reduce the size, really. And so Chris Ray doesn't even know what he's talking about. And at the hearing also, he talked about recovering 8 cartridges. Now, that's ammo. That's including the charge and a bullet. He should have said casings. Why did he say cartridges? A lot of his testimony just didn't make any sense, including the shrapnel remark. I think he was just being his narcissist self and giving the middle finger to everyone, because they did recover shells, casings, right? Which is like a hollow tube. The bullet has been fired. What's left over is an empty little tube, right? We call that a shell or a casing. Now, if you see the body cam image, the full video, about 4.5 minutes in, one of the officers on the rooftop goes, "Hey, I see casings, 2, 3, 5. And he counted just 5, right? But amazingly, 20 minutes later, on a roof that is basically white, it's very easy to see casings, right? And they would be in the general same area. Only 20 minutes later, suddenly somebody goes, "Hey, I found 3 more casings. The total is 8. So the first 3 shots are also accounted for because they found 8 casings. So they're trying to say that all shots were fired by Crooks, a lone gunman, don't you know? And it's remarkable how they're using that picture, like when Crooks was 13 years old. They had that picture ready to send to all the media. And the story is a kid with an AR-15, a mass shooting. It wasn't a political assassination at all. And that was the story, right? And they go with, hey, you have to ban assault weapons. And that's how the left operates. But think of it. You have different sounds, different weapons being used, but the FBI somehow finds 3 extra shells to fully account for all the shots. Now, obviously, it's very easy to plant those, and that's what happened, because the 3 shots were taken by an elite assassin somewhere in the back of Crooks. So the bullets come from the same general area, but the first shot was so perfect that it really came from a sniper rifle with a tripod and an elite marksman. That first shot had to be the kill shot. That was the shot that was supposed to take out President Trump, that they wanted to shoot President Trump in the head on live network TV. And we're talking about these media companies somehow knowing that they should have carried this live, and so they did. Who told them that? Because the Butler rallies are always very big, and it's good for Trump. Why would the left-wing media promote that? And they somehow also knew that whatever would happen early on, so they don't have to carry the rally for like 1 hour. And yeah, about 11 minutes in to the speech, something did happen. How did they all know, those media moguls? So I guess they were kind of in on it. They didn't know what would happen, but what else could it be? Now you have the first 3 shots being the shots that were closest to President Trump. The first, of course, being a headshot. Only by a miracle did he survive that. But he also kind of saved his own life by ducking down, because the other 2 were whizzing by him. And that's another miracle, you could say. But the shots fired by Crooks, the 5 staccato shots, were kind of like a spray. They were very inaccurate. And it's consistent with the AR perhaps not having a scope, or that Crooks is just a person that doesn't know how to fire a gun very well. Even though it's 150 yards, it's still like a football field almost. So that would explain why these gunshots, these bullets didn't end up in a grouped area, right? Which is what you had with the first 3 shots that were obviously delivered by an elite sniper. Now, who was that elite sniper? Was it a Ukrainian expert sniper brought in just to do the kill shot? Was it somebody from the agency, like a spook sniper? Who even knows? But we're talking about somebody who is really like an elite sniper. And Crooks is the cover story, right? So as soon as the elite sniper started firing, Crooks started firing. And that's, again, why you hear the 3 different weapons. Boom, 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 pa, 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 and boom. Crooks gets taken out. And we still don't know. And even Chris Wray in the hearing, after 10 days, could not even tell people who took out Crooks. Now, isn't that something you would know on day 1? Like, we took him out. Oh, it was Sniper Team 2 or Sniper Team 1. But no, nobody knows, it seems. So it's very odd. What if it was the actual elite sniper who delivered the headshot? 2 more. Then, after Crooks got off a couple of shots, he took out Crooks, the patsy, so he couldn't talk. And then the cleanup and the cover-up, which started by the FBI saying within 24 hours that this Crooks guy acted alone. So we're talking about a lone gunman. The FBI power cleaning the whole rooftop and getting rid of evidence, or planting extra casings, or whatever not. I mean, it is so obvious that this was a black op, and it's the government taking out Trump. And the cover is, hey, it was some crazy guy with an AR-15. But the first 3 shots cannot be explained, and that is exactly why Chris Ray was dancing around with the shrapnel comment, saying that the bullet could have ended up somewhere else, because they cannot explain the first 3 shots. First of all, they had to plant 3 casings, 3 shells to make it fit for the 8 shots, because there were only 5 that were fired by Crooks, so only 5 shells on the rooftop. They planted 3 to make the numbers fit, but then what about the bullets? So Chris Ray is trying to explain that somehow the bullet didn't go past Trump, that he was hit by shrapnel, that somehow the bullet hit the teleprompter, which isn't even true, but you can tell he was just trying to create confusion about the first shot. And that is because they're trying to cover up that the first 3 shots were taken by someone else. And so because there's some difference of the weapon used, the caliber, but also the exact location, more or less the same direction, but there's a difference, right? The angle is a little bit different. And so that is what they're trying to cover up. And again, the Secret Service denied the use of a drone. They didn't want to use a drone. The Secret Service didn't attend the security briefing in the morning before the rally. They had a perimeter that was obviously not wide enough, and it had some gap allowing for that rooftop to be unsecure. And then you had Crooks actually being identified an hour before. He actually tried to get into the rally. The guy was on the radar, and then nobody thought of arresting the guy or really checking him out in person. And it's like, oh, that's a suspicious guy. Oh, okay, so what's for lunch, right? It's like they didn't care. Very odd behavior, especially from the Secret Service. And then you had a lot of happenstances where you had law enforcement people going for a drink or abandoning their post, and it's almost orchestrated, like everybody leaves and suddenly Crooks is there firing, and then, oh, what happened? I don't know if it's really that complicated that somebody orchestrated a whole plan where everybody was made to leave. I think they just decreased the security as much as possible. They left the rooftop unguarded on purpose. They vacated the room with a view on the shooter, Crooks. And they may have allowed a elite sniper team to go in to do the kill shot. And obviously it's like, oh, they're there to protect Trump, right? They're going to look around. But that sniper team was a team that was there to kill Trump, not to protect Trump. And perhaps to take out the patsy after doing the headshot. And my theory, because that's what it is, it's just my view, my instinct, my inkling, is that, you have a sniper team go in, everybody believes that it's part of Secret Service, or these law enforcement people didn't know the difference. They try to kill Trump, because obviously they should have succeeded. Only by a miracle, a swivel of the head, was President Trump alive, and by ducking. But then they take out Crooks. So it seems like they did a good job. And that's why even Ray, in the hearing after 10 days, doesn't even know how to explain who took out Crooks. It's one of those things like, who killed bin Laden? If he was killed by SEALs, who did it? You want to claim credit. But no, he still didn't know. So a lot of people in the media said it was Sniper Team 1 on the left side of the stage on the barn roof. Other people said it was the state police snipers on the other side of the rally, also on the rooftop of a barn. But what if it was the actual assassin that snipe that Trump missed. Then Crooks started firing. He takes out Crooks, and he's like a hero over there, right? So maybe it was like a spook sniper. And then the other guys are like, okay, hey, we got to keep this on the down low because, they're from the agency specialists. They took out Crooks. Cool, right? Hey, good guys. What they didn't know is that moments earlier, they were the ones, that two-man team, that did a headshot on President Trump. That is the scenario I see. And it's possible that the elite sniper was somewhere else behind Crooks. The whole compound is owned by BlackRock. They have complete control over that building. And all of the different parts of it, the rooftops were all unguarded. And many of the rooms, you don't know who was in which room and what was going on. A lot of open windows. But it's very obvious that we can conclude that the first 3 shots were not fired by Crooks. It's just not possible. And finally, I want to leave you with this thought. With the media getting a heads up to carry the rally live, and the elite sniper doing a headshot, they wanted America to see President Trump being shot in the head on live TV. That's what they wanted, to really give a trauma to all the Trump supporters, but to all Americans that saw it, and to replay the footage over and over again, and to really make a statement. And that is evil plus plus.